Good evening, coaching you for you. Thanks for joining me again this evening. Welcome back. Today, tonight, our topic is about the dating pool. And the reason I chose the dating pool is because I've asked so many people to share with me things they'd like us to talk about on Coaching You for You and some of my experience, strength, and hope. And so tonight, I intend to do just that. And I want to talk a little bit about where we are and why we're here. We're here to give you an opportunity to inhale the inspiration. This is an inspirational podcast. We have other podcasts, but this podcast is specifically about inspiration. And so I'm happy that you're joining me this evening. Thanks for coming back. Have a seat, go get your coffee, juice, wine, or tea, and come inhale a little bit of inspiration with me. I'm excited to be here with you this evening. And as usual, I'm suffering allergies, but thanks for joining me. I'd like to shout out every parent everywhere who's holding it down and providing for their children. That absolutely makes a difference. And the teachers who deal with them all year long appreciate you too. That's a message from some of my teacher friends. And so I wanted to share that with you. I want to shout out everybody who has a small business and is working hard to ensure that that business is functioning and functioning professionally and in the community. Thank you for providing for our community. I'd also like to shout out women everywhere and men and ask that you'll inhale, go get your coffee, juice, wine, water, or tea, have a seat, and let's inhale a little inspiration with me. And so, the first thing I'd like to tell you is that I'm going to use a real pool as an example and bring it into the dating pool. But before I do, I want to tell you that sometimes in being held accountable in any way, form, or fashion, a lot of people feel like they're being attacked. What doesn't apply tonight, please let it fly. Again, thanks for joining me. My name is Annette Latigue. I am your host here at Coaching You for You. Being held accountable many times to many people feel like an attack because they're not ready to acknowledge how their bad decisions and behavior impact others. So sit back, relax, and let's enjoy these few minutes that we have here together. We are on a clock. So thank you for joining us. One of the things I'd like to share, and I think is critically important, it was for me at least, and again, I share my experience, strength, and hope, and that is that dating is not about, um, you know, meeting people and deciding that you're going to hook up as soon as you meet. It's not about finding your provider. That's not what dating is about. And I think that the message has been mixed and confused by so many people who want to share their experience, strength, and hope, limited or unlimited, and the message gets mixed. Dating is about an experience. It is simply about enjoying the company of the person that you're with or not. And dating is about finding out whether you can or not. And that's important too. Dating is about allowing uh, these experiences to be recognized and or accepted or rejected by you and the person you're dating. So on a date, remember this, it's about the experience. So let's move away from that. I'm not here to coach you about dating. I'm here to talk to you about the dating pool. And the question from several people, men and women alike, was, is the dating pool polluted? Some of them are, and some of them are not. It depends on where you're at. Not all pools are polluted, but where you swim matters. And sometimes you have to leave the immediate area that you're in to swim safely. And by that I mean, if you're in a small area, excuse me, and you stick to that area, what's been known to happen is you get in a recycled pool, which means that everybody is doing everything with everybody. And it's almost impossible sometimes in small areas to meet people who have not been involved with somebody that you know. That's important. When you're in a small area, there are times we got to hydrate, guys. We got to hydrate. And I'm not going to mention the name of this watermelon water, but it helps me and it works for me. Watermelon water, coconut water, blueberry water, pineapple water, lime and mint water. It all works for me because I personally can't stand plain water. And so, when you get into a recycled pool, that's a place where folk who have been everywhere and been with everybody, you're sharing. That's a recycled pool. And it happens a lot. And personally, for me, I am not interested in being with anybody who's been with everybody. I'm not. That's my personal feelings. And I want to leave it out of this conversation and just let you know that whether you're in a recycled pool or a dirty pool, it's always your choice. You can always move on and leave. And I say that because there's some really good people in this world. There are. I've met quite a few of them, men and women alike, who are decent and looking to date, but they're not dating because they feel like the pools are polluted. And if you're in a recycled pool where everybody's sharing everybody sometime, and that happens in small areas. You talk to Latricia, and she dated the guy that your best friend is dating now 2 years ago. It's a small pool. Sometimes, no, all the time, you need to look for different areas and meet different people and do different things. Different people, places, and things make the difference. You don't have to stay in a recycled pool. Just because you know doesn't mean that that's what you need to do. Go somewhere and get to know somebody else. So, the other thing about recycled pools is one bad apple in that pool of recycled people can spoil the whole bunch. We'll get to that later. If you're in a circle where everybody does everything with everybody and there's no restrictions or standards, well, there you have it. You can expect more of the same, no restrictions and standards. Nobody in that type of circle expects anything except a hit and run. Who's responsible for these dirty waters, men and women alike? Statistics and studies have shown that women are less trusting after having been in bad relationships. Men have a lot of different backgrounds, including irresponsible behavior. This applies to men and women. Irresponsible behaviors, refusing to change, no standards, no expectations, no goals, and no hope. They're just looking for hit and runs. those apples can spoil the whole bunch. And so, where there's no expectations, no standards, and no good behavior, you can only expect more of the same. If anybody, man or woman, and your partner is in a position where they are being disloyal and muddying the waters and recycling mates, don't expect it's going to change for you. Men and women alike. Men and women alike. Don't expect that it will change for you. What you see is what you get. Remember that. That's how the water gets polluted. Who's peeing in the pool? Men and women. Yep, y'all can pull up anytime. I'm here. We can have the conversation. And so we want to move to the analogy of a pool and what it takes to clean a pool when it's dirty. And I want you to know, having been a pool owner, spend a lot of time in that pool and with that pool. Having a pool is like having a baby. It requires care. You don't just go away and leave it and everything's okay. You have to provide for that pool when you're on vacation, when you're away on business trips. Pools require maintenance. The same thing goes for a pool of people that impact you. It requires maintenance. So, one of the questions is, the questions are all pools polluted? No. There are good people out here. Who polluted? Who peed in the pool? Men and women, both, have polluted the pool. Can we shock the pool? See, one of the things about a dirty pool, your pool could be filthy, dirty, green, look like mud. And in a matter of days, you can turn that water crystal clear by shocking it. So, one of the things, we want to talk about is shocking that pool. Yeah, the dating pool. And you can shock it by doing something different. Refuse to be discounted in a relationship. Refuse to be put on layaway. You know how some people say, I'm just not ready yet, but I like you. Will you wait for me? That's a personal decision. It's a choice. But if you choose to be on layaway, then you get what comes with layaway. Sometimes they'll pick the layaway up and pay for it, and sometimes they won't. It's your choice. But shock the pool by refusing discounts and layaways. The same way pools are normally clean, we can put a spin on the dating pool. So the first thing you have to do in the dating pool is skim the waters. Like if you see trash on top of the waters, if you see dirt and debris on top of the water, dirt and debris is refusing to take care of their children, disrespecting, their partners, refusing to participate in the relationship, being emotionally unavailable. You got to skim those things first. And the only way to skim the dating pool is to get to know a little bit about the person that you're dating. Some of you dive right in head first. Skim the pool. Find out what's on top of that pool first. Skim the water. Don't just dive in. Observe the waters, the dating pool, and see what's on top. And what's on top is usually pretty obvious. We tend to ignore it because it works better for us. And they look so good and we like them. That's how we get in trouble. That's how people drown. That's how hearts are broken. Yeah. Shock the pool. Be the person with standards and self respect. That's the shock. That's the thing that you put in the pool after you skim it, get all the trash off the top. The next thing you do is shock it. And you shock it by having some self respect and some standards in dating. Remember, dating is about the experience. It's not automatically about marriage and somebody to take care of you, man or woman, and provide for you. It's about the experience. Do you like the person? Do you like the conversations that they have? Do you like the way they deal with other people? Yeah. Shock the dating pool. Have some standards and self respect. Your access code should first be respect. If your partner disrespects you and constantly curses you out in the beginning, well, gee, you can expect more of the same. If they're controlling in the beginning, you can expect more of the same. So shock the dating pool and do something different. There are so many people, men and women alike, who hook up and do Netflix and chill on the first date. And Netflix, flicks and chill is typically about more than watching Netflix. And we know that. So, shock the pool, do something different, have some standards, have some self respect, have an access code that begins with respect. That's how you open it up. The next thing we do when our pools are dirty, we skim the top first, then we shock it, and then we vacuum the bottom of the pool because some of that debris drops to the bottom of the pool. And the bottom of the pool is about raising your standards. It's okay to have standards. We've been so tricked and so misled by people who say your standards are too high. If those standards work for you, they could not possibly be too high. You could possibly, remove yourself from the pool of good people because your standards don't meet the people that you're um, around or getting to know. Go to a different pool. Find a different pool. Travel to a different place. Meet new people. Do different things. Your pool is not always the pool in your backyard or the pool at the community center. Sometimes you have to go to a pool, out of state or someplace else. Yeah, you do. Find different pools. Get all the debris from the bottom. Raise your standards. Raise your standards. No discounts and no layaways in the relationship. And then there's the filter. So we've skimmed the pool, we've shocked it, and we've vacuumed the bottom to get all the dirt up. Move away from that dirt. In the vacuuming process, it will filter itself out. The bottom of the pool. Get away from the bottom of the pool. Bottom of the dating pool means you have no standards. You'll date anybody, including your friend's friend. You'll work to try to destroy relationships that are already intact. You'll get involved with somebody who's been everywhere and think that you have a prize when everybody knows they've been at the bottom of the pool. And people have the opportunity to change. But the bottom of the pool is about no self respect, no self esteem, no self confidence. Vacuum that stuff up and get rid of it. And then empty the vacuum. We're talking about the dating pool. Vacuum up the debris that's on the bottom and get away from it. If you hang with people who are shooting up clubs with no mask, eventually you'll do the same thing. And some of you know exactly what I mean by that. There are babies everywhere who don't even know who their fathers are. Shame on the mother and the father for that. Vacuum that pool. And finally, cover the pool to protect yourself because listen, an uncovered pool gets dirty. AIDS, sexually transmitted diseases are still rampant. And don't forget, uncovered pools will allow dead animals to drop into them. Yeah, that happens. hmm Birds poop in it. Cover your pool. Cover the pool. Sexually transmitted diseases are real, and so are sexually transmitted demons. They're real. Cover that pool to protect yourself from getting dirty. Cover it. We had this conversation tonight because there was a lot of questions. A lot of people sent me emails requesting that we talk about the dating pool. I'm not here to offer dating advice. I am here to talk to you about keeping those pools clean. Yep, keeping them clean. So let's hit it. Skim it, get the dirt off. Shock it, raise your standards. Vacuum it, vacuum the pool at the bottom. Get that dirt out. And in vacuuming the pool, that also applies to your mind and your heart. Clean it up. It's a little dirty sometimes in the things that you do, and it impacts the pool. And some people won't like this conversation because they're not prepared to deal with how their behavior, their bad behaviors, impact other people. So vacuum, get the debris from the bottom, get away from dirty people, clean your heart and your mind, unpack, heal from your past trauma and hurts. Otherwise, you're going to bleed on somebody else. So vacuum that pool out. And why do we vacuum it out? Because swimming in dirty waters puts you, as well as others, at risk. There are some polluted waters. They're not all polluted, but there are some. And try not to pee in the pool. There are many people who want to swim in that pool as well as you. Try not to pee in the pool. If you don't believe me about why we're at risk in dirty pools, do your homework. Do your homework. Look up the statistics in the area in which you live to see what the numbers are for sexually transmitted diseases, and that includes AIDS. AIDS is still rampant. It is. Do your homework, check it out. And before you talk about or think about anybody else's pool, clean your own. Skim it, and let's get going. I want to thank you for joining me here today. Keeping the pool clean impacts all of us, including some married folks. Who jump in pools and who jump in pools. Remember, folks, the responsibility belongs to all of us. Have a good evening. I'm your host, Annette, here at Coaching You For You. See us on YouTube, Facebook, and wherever podcasts are. Interested in joining me on a podcast as a co host? Hit me up. I'm with it. Have a good evening.